Have roughly about 25-30 people, so I think we should respect everybody's time and let's begin our spiritual journey on a Saturday. And it's a memorable day as well because it's centenary celebrations of Anzac Day. To begin with, on behalf of everyone, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we live and work and pay respect to all the elders past and present. I'm quite sure everybody must be aware that today is the 100th anniversary of Anzac landing. That particular event happened roughly about 100 years ago, so maybe a lot of people might not be aware of the significance of that particular event. But personally, I believe that slice of history made a significant contribution to the way we live our lives today. So, as a mark of tribute and respect to all the people who lost their lives and the sacrifices made by the family, would I kindly request everyone to stand up and observe silence for a minute. Appreciate that. Well, I personally believe that silence will help us unreveal the potential of the spirituality what we are all seeking. So I would highly appreciate if everybody could put their cell phones on silent. There's plenty of space around if you want. You could obviously go outside if you want to speak as well, but we would highly appreciate if you could do that. Now to begin our journey today, first of all I would like to invite Mr. Manish Patel. He's a practicing CPA and he's come all the way from India and he's been onto the spiritual journey since past 30 years. That's approximately my age. I wanted to keep that a secret because these days there's no gender discrimination. Even guys would like to keep their age secret, but let's just begin now. Mr. Manish Patel for you.
Thank you, Dr. Patik. I'm Manish Mehta here. Slide 6 in there. Good morning to everybody. As Dr. Patik mentioned, the time management. To begin with that, and I think the only resource which we cannot borrow, which we cannot give anybody in our life is time. This unique seminar on holistic inner science and integral living is being organized by Holistic Research Charitable Foundation, USA and India, together with True Blessings of Australia. Just to give a little glimpse of what is going to follow during the day. In the present world of lot of material progress, scientific progress, various gadgets, comforts and luxuries, we are still in search of holistic, balanced, happy, harmonious and meaningful living. Holistic inner science, visions and tools can enable us to have all of that. This Holistic Science Research Center, which is organizing this event, is founded in USA, and we are fortunate to have with us today Director Dr. Rajnikant Patel from that organization. He's come from all the way from USA to Australia. I am fortunate to be here with you. We had come on a holiday to Australia and Singapore, and it just happened that you organized this event and we got an opportunity. This is timing in life. One who wishes something gets in the journey, sometimes accidentally, sometimes intently, but certainly what is within us. Today we have 4 sessions. As we go on our journey, many things will expand. We have with us Mr. Mahesh Trivedi, founder of True Blessings. I'll invite him to give his opening remarks on significance of holistic inner science and also to introduce our key speaker for the day, Dr. Shailesh Anandji. May I request Mahesh Bhai to be here for. welcome Mahesh Bhai. Just a small little introduction what I know of him. He has worked in University of Sydney as an IT professional for 24 years. And as a side activity and now as a main activity, he has been on a journey for spiritual enrichment. Maybe now more on the inner science side, as he talked to me yesterday only. And I invite him to share his things for today.
Welcome everyone, and today I'm very happy to have you all to be here in the journey of inner science and integral living with a holistic view. As Manish Bhai mentioned, this journey had already started many years ago by HSCRF, which is a holistic science charitable research foundation in USA and India, and we are fortunate to have Rajni Bhai here from USA. Holistic living is the pathway to a happy, harmonious, healthy and more fulfilling life. We all are human beings and we always want to learn and explore our life journey. And especially in Australia, this is our first generation. Like many of us came 20 years, 25 years ago, or 10 years ago. And we all have gone through different phases of our life. Like with a new country and migrating in with new people, settling down with new culture, and also keeping our own Indian heritage and the family values. So holistic is mainly it's like a wholesome. As we have experienced in our journey, part of our life we were too much focused on the career, part of the life we were focused either on the business or with the family. So holistic meaning is a balanced living, it's an interconnected living, something purposeful. So it is not about what we have or what we do, but what we are at our core being, at inner level. So it is a journey of all inclusive and all comprehensive type of belief. Holistic Living Seminar provides new vision with understanding to reflect our inner and outer world. Basically the life interactions happening on an everyday basis, like whatever our thoughts, our feelings and our behavior. And the same is true for other people, even at home or at work or within the community or wherever we go. And obviously, even though we think that we have done everything right, and still something is not happening correctly. So those type of questions we have. Even though we try our best to keep harmony, but sometimes in relationship it always two people or more than two people. So how that harmony is not able to be sustained, how we can't maintain it. So those type of things are there. And when people say that now world has become smaller and smaller, like we can globally connect and collaborate with each and every one, I think it is best to know what is really holistic inner science. I was just fortunate to meet Dr. Shailashanand in India about 9 months ago while I was traveling in Europe, and then I went to India to see my mom, and he was just returning from his USA trip for the holistic living seminars, and we had a brief talk for maybe hardly 1 hour. But I was really interested and keen, and 9 months ago I decided there itself that one day I would like to have this holistic inner living seminar in Australia, and it has happened today. So the event is only just 1 day, but why I'm referring this, because that is exactly what he is going to brief it today. What he says, that if you desire for something, even though you don't share with anyone, that very original seed thought which is installed in your mind, then it starts growing, that seed, and then it goes to the nature. This is all scientific, this is all science, this is not superstition, or this is not a belief. So it says that one thought, whether it's a good, bad, loving, hatred, anything, you can have a thought for anything. But he says then that thought is in your mind, but you are a part of the nature. So in nature, it's tried to manifest in every single way, like in a million directions. So whenever some circumstances or situation or the place comes where it can have a click, and that is how it grows. And when it grows, then finally it happens. That is what Manish Bhai told, that one of the quote, that if you desire something, whether it's a willingly, intentionally or unintentionally, it's going to happen. So Dr. Shailashanand's message is that anyway, whatever you think at even micro level, because everything starts from thoughts, then the feelings, then the behavior. We all know that. So he says that anyway your thought is going to become reality one day. Whether you believe or not, whether you want or not, it's going to happen. So he says, why not to have a good, powerful thought? So it's all about that inner science. And basically, at True Blessings, as you know, that True Blessings are just 2 dictionary words, just put together, develop the concept with 8 words in a sequence: connect, collaborate, reflect, visualize, create, celebrate, give and grow. So that is, and awareness is the key. So after 4 years, last year in 2004 December, True Blessings Institute is formed, and we wanted to have some collaborated event. But this is much earlier than when I met Dr. Shailashanand. I really, in last 3 weeks, I have been with him almost on every day. So what he says that you have to take new, fresh approach. You know, like we have been doing same thing every day. His message is also that if nothing changes in you, then nothing changes for you. And he is not talking about a big change. He is talking about like a millimeter by millimeter change. So there is a new way to create the change in your life. And it is simple, because 1 millimeter change is not a big deal. One example during our journey in last 3 weeks, he just told, that was very powerful. That was very applicable to me, because at least I can't hide my character and personality from you. Most of you know for many, many years. So what I talk and what I say, if that is not true, you are not going to believe me, because I am not here one day speaker. What he told that sometimes people talk about somebody. Okay, listen, this example is very powerful. People talk about somebody to you, like they might have a bad experience with that person. Now, you don't have a bad experience with that person, but you heard that. What he says, suppose if that thought is allowed and passed away, so far no problem. But if you accept that thought, if you perceive that thought, and if you start forming the opinion about that person who has not even done anything wrong with you, it is a somebody's experience with somebody. But he says you are putting your signature. He says that you are putting your signature, and basically that is how your relationship with that person, without you talking, start getting downhill. I think I don't have to explain what I am just saying, that sometimes we are just saying, oh, he did like that, oh, he or she is like that, but that is what he says. So one of the another thing is that don't start jumping on forming the opinion. Okay, then it could be anyone. I can't give the example. This can be with cricketer or some personality. What holistic science is giving an answer, that how one can live balanced, happy life even in difficult times. So just please make note, because we all are going through difficult times. What he tells, another thing is that we can't change the fruits, but we can change the seeds for the new fruit. Second thing, how does my attitude affect my life experience? What is the relationship between holistic science and physical science? How can we achieve our maximum human potential? And how can I find balance in my personal and professional life? These are very, very important things. So I would just consider that this is like a, I would just consider this is a journey or adventure ride. When we go to an adventure ride, it goes high, and it goes high. We really have a thrill. But like some of those rides, when it falls, even though we want to enjoy, we scream. So what I am just saying, this is really a subject of self-learning. It's not about do's and don'ts. So I would just now welcome Dr. Sureshanand on the stage, and please join me in welcoming him.
ऑन करो ना।
Thank you very much, Mahesh, for a very nice and precise talk. Valuing time, valuing everybody's time, respecting everybody's time is so crucial that Mahesh has also proved. In one small life, we want to achieve so many things, and everything can be achieved within this life. Let us hear Dr. Sureshanand what he has to say about how to achieve our balance requirements of true happiness from this same life only. Dr. Sureshanand.
So, at the outset, I greet you all with feeling of oneness. I'm not greeting you, but I'm greeting myself seated in you. So, with that oneness feeling, just I start, and let me most clearly say that I am not a great guru or a teacher, but I am here to share something which has come my way, which I am experimenting myself in my life, enjoying the fruits, and I feel like sharing with all. So, my first part would be introduction to holistic inner science. So, as has been aptly said, that today the progress of various disciplines of science stem cells, nanotechnology, genetics, cloning. If given the permission, we are ready to produce the another human beings with the required qualities and so-called God particles. So it appears as if I am ready to conquer the universe. But if I look within me, what is the scenario? Do I have disadjustment? Do I have lack of harmony? Do I have inner and outer clashes? And stress is such a big word. Today we'll talk a little bit more about that. So if it is that, then here is the how can I resolve my inner things and how can I get best out of my life. So here is the need for inner science. And science is one which can make the humans happy from all perspectives, from within and without. So it is where the holistic inner science comes into play. It is a very good thing. Let's first ask ourselves few questions. Most of us, I believe, must have asked at one or other time. But am I living a balanced and holistic life? You can answer yourself whatever you feel like. Do I have a happy, harmonious, rich and meaningful inner life? In one country, Bhutan, I think it was the wisest country of the world. So they say we don't go by GDP, gross domestic product, but we go by the happiness score of the humans. Is the purpose of my life clear to me? How do I manage unfavorable situations? Favorable, I am fine, as Mahesh Bhai say, on a happy ride. But what happens to me in unfavorable situations, like clashes or illness or death of somebody who is near and dear to me? Am I carrying mental baggages that keeps me bothering or dragging me down? And most important issue, for all these things, what should I be doing? Should I be attending yoga classes regularly? Should I be attending meditation courses, mindful living courses and other practices? Or how far each can take me? Many of you must have been into that already. So how far it can take me, that's another question. What is in my realm, control and what is not, and should I know who am I? And if the answer is yes, how can I know that? So with some of these basic questions, let me take you to the journey. So what is holistic inner science? This is probably a new word for many of the people, and the people ask me, what is this holistic inner science all about? So I would say simply that it is a science of our own life and living as a whole, along with the universe or cosmos. But if we go to in a little more detail, everybody knows I am Shailesh, I'm doctor. So science of I, with mind, body, speech, which is my inner apparatus with which I interface or interact or perceive or experience the world, inner happenings and outer circumstantial evidences along with the natural regulatory system as a whole. In other words, one can say it is science of relative self and real self, or pure conscious and matter. So many scientists are today trying to understand what's the relation between matter and conscious, how they interact with each other. More so science of relative inner self, and as I already said, what is in my realm and what is not, what is fate and free will. If you want to go into little more subtle details, charge and discharge of karmic bonds. Most importantly, how the nature and human living are interacted or they are related with each other. Human life is a unique live experiment. When I say this, many of you will wonder that experiment really can happen only in the laboratory. How the human life is an experiment. But we have a full session onto that. And so briefly it gives me everything from art and science for my daily living, enabling me to have the happy, harmonious and meaningful inner living, and ultimately reaching to the ultimate truth, or one can say the absolute. What is the uniqueness about this science? It is very easy. I remember Einstein that when he said that if you can't make the things easy, probably you have not understood it well. So it is very easy, it is very practical, and it has many unique aspects. You have been given the kit. I'll come to what has been given into the kit, but if you refer to the chapter 2 of a book, you will see many unique aspects of this science. It was experienced and revealed by many absolute ones, but most importantly, it can be experienced by one and all. So now going little into the overview how this works, and here is the relative inner self, which is very important, where there is a mind, reflective consciousness, intellect, ego, role of opinion, I and my, and most importantly understanding, and Maheshbhai said awareness. But I would put understanding first. I am aware but without understanding. If I don't have the knowledge of direction, my car will take me somewhere else. So now let's understand how this functions. The inputs from all the five senses, they go to the inner machinery of mind, intellect, reflective consciousness and ego, but there is interface of vision or belief. I have put it more graphically over here, that this works like a machinery. This remains, hardware remains constant with us, and inputs also remains constant. But with the same inputs, all of us would perceive, experience and react or respond differently. Why? Because our visions or beliefs are different, understanding is different. So if we can change this for correct one, I think everything changes. This is the basic message of this inner science. Now let me connect it to the modern science, how this science is a little bit connected to the modern science. I was once asked a question just recently on SBS radio talk interview, that you being the practitioner of the modern science, I'm an eye surgeon by the way, how did you get into this? So this is the answer to that. So we know about mind, conscious and unconscious, then there is a brain and body. Body has the autonomic nervous system. I'll not bother you a little more, but just understand that it's a wiring, precise wiring from brain to the toe and each side, and there's a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Most of us know that today most of the diseases are caused by the mind conditions or a stress or other things. So this is just to make you understand that whatever inputs are going from here, there is a system which affects all the cells and organs of the body. I'll give you an example. Suppose somebody sends me a message on a WhatsApp, you did very well. Even though I am hungry, my all cells will be positively energized. But somebody sends me the message on WhatsApp, you just spoiled our time. It was nothing to know from your talk. And even though I am fed well, and even though the sweets are in front of me, probably the whole negative wave will go down my body. So this is just to understand that it is not only the thought, it is not only the talk, it is not only the wisdom, it has the connection, mind, body, soul connection. So this is another picture saying that everything goes to the minor cellular level. So what happens really? Mind, brain and body stress. We were talking about the stress, and I'll give you a humorous example. There was a cardiologist conference at Hyderabad, India. Almost 10,000 cardiologists, including the renowned cardiologists of the world, were there. What do you think? Who would be the guest of honor speaker? Whom they would have invited as a main speaker to open out the conference? Any idea? Best cardiologist of the world? Best cardiac surgeon of the world?
In India,
Hyderabad. She was a spiritual lady. And she started very beautifully. She made an opening remark, you being the cardiologist, you are aware that all these diseases, especially the heart attacks, hypertension and other things, are caused by stress. So everybody said, yes, it is well proven. Then she asked the second question, do you all have a stress, or is anybody of you free from the stress? And unfortunately not a single hand was raised. Then she came to the third statement, that now reflect back that whenever you had a stress, in that particular happening, can you now think that you could have a better way of dealing with the thing? Could have a better understanding or better approach, so the stress could have been minimized or averted? So this was a real life scenario. I'll now and then join it with the real life scenarios, and this was shared by my very closest cardiologist friend to me. So stress releases various hormones, especially cortisol and adrenaline, and it affects all the glands and everything in the body, and it has been proven that it has the effect on the immune system of the body. Very shortly to say, it reduces our capacity to fight the disease, or we are inviting diseases. So the reverse also should be true. So on the other hand, the people have proven that this is what I was talking about, the gross body, where we doctors can study up to the microscopic or cellular level. But there are three types of body as shown by the enlightened ones, and the second body is the aura body, energy body, or the electrical body. That electrical body we doctors know by electrocardiogram, electromyogram, electroencephalogram. But I was very skeptical about when I was reading about the chakras and energies and other things. But when I saw these pictures of the energy body, people having really photographed it, and one who is interested can go onto the Google and find the GDV Express camera or GDV compact camera, and now there are the proofs that there is this energy body, and there are also proofs that when I become angry, there is an effect on this energy body, and when I am helpful or when I am forgiving or when I am in a positive mode, it does have the effect thereof. We have the functional MRI with us, which the neuroscientists are trying to document what are the changes. So now there are some more things. Attitudes and thoughts do have the relation to disease as well, disease its causation as well as cure. And you have been given the printouts of my PowerPoint slides. So I may skip some areas, but you can go into the details if you are interested more. This was a guy who was told by all the doctors that sorry, we can't do anything for you. There's nothing in the world at the moment. And he decided, no, I must cure this. And he cured it, and then he moved to all the doctors' conferences to tell his experience, and he came out with a book, Anatomy of Illness in Head First. So there are so many people. This is an MD fellow, change your mind and change your life. So the simple thing is, okay, whatever we are going to talk, it has the relation throughout. And there is an institute, American Institute of Holistic Medicine, known as AIHM. You can Google. Then they are having so many treatment techniques based on the body, mind, spirit. Now some more scientific correlations. Our thoughts can affect the physical matter and thus physical outcome. This has been by Bill Tiller in Arizona and Marilyn Twins in California. So many people ask the questions how this is a science. So there are some proofs I am putting here. Thoughts count, they create real effects. There is definite interaction between consciousness and matter. This was the research of Berkeley Rubin at the Temple University of Philadelphia. So coming back to now my main area, it is all inclusive, all comprehensive. Mahesh Bhai has already said it. But most important, why it is holistic? Because it is useful to one and all, irrespective of any bar or barrier of caste, creed, color, nationality, faith, literary or socio-economic status. Universe is within, and we are also part of whole and interconnected. And the benefits, of course, I have already listed: happy, harmonious human living, inner freedom, realization of inner potentials. One gentleman asked, I don't have any problems. What is there in this science to often be positive? I said, that's very fine. You go straight away to second. Realize your inner potentials and make best use of it, and ultimate truth. Where I am. So many people are doing meditation, should ask the questions, and as we go along the journey, that have I achieved all these results? Yoga, is it only body exercise? No. I will come across in my talk that yoga, there are three purposes of yoga. First and foremost is balanced living. You can remain balanced, samatvam yogam, from within. Have I achieved that? Have I achieved chittavritti, nirodha, or restraining my reflective consciousness? Have I achieved joining with the pure self? There may be some people traveling through religious or spiritual beliefs and people traveling with the modern science. Holistic inner science is complementary and supplementary and can show you some more light to move ahead in whatever you are doing. Now, coming to the seminar, each presentation will be followed by interactive sessions. Make it live by asking as many questions. It is all hours and by hours. I am not here to talk one way. Of course, I have to present something so that you can ask the questions. We may not look at academic completeness or beauty. It may happen that if my time bell rings, I may leave out few slides, that's fine. I may skip some points, that's fine, you are given, then that's not important. But even if it leads us to inner journey and gives us a single vision which will be helpful throughout our life henceforth, I think the purpose is achieved. If you look at your seminar kit, you have been given a brief handout about what is holistic inner science. Then there is a book which you can go and refer afterwards, and whatever I am talking, that's briefly summarized here. And we have some short aphorisms which I will refer in my presentations. So that is all shortly about the seminar kit. It's a very valuable thing. Just take time whenever you get to go through when you go home. And a word about holistic scientist. Who is holistic scientist? one who has the thorough experience of relative self and real self, most importantly, whose doership egoism has been totally vanished, whose mindless egoism has been vanished, who can throw light on science of conscious and matter related to conscious, and has only one wish. Let this science reach to one and all such that one and all can attain peace and happiness. And this gentleman was the founder visionary to initiate this movement of holistic inner science. And this gentleman said that, of course, it is not for the personality, but the inner vision, inner light and experience he had. He said, I want to have the scientists, seekers and thinkers, and I can answer or show them the answers to all questions so that it can go ahead. So this was about the introduction to holistic inner science. If you have any questions, you are given the handouts. You can, there is a space by side. You can note down your questions, and we can take as and when the question answer session comes up. So now I come to my presentation proper, and that is the first part. Now let me say how I have planned the journey for today. Having introduced you about to the holistic inner science, I'll start with the daily living. Very simple things. People have been repeatedly saying we don't take us very high. Keep it basic and simple. So I'll start with the daily living things and how the holistic inner science visions can make our daily living happy and harmonious. Then second session I'll go a little in our knowing our inner self or discover the world within. Third, I will go to the secrets, that is human life, a unique life experiment. Rhonda Byron has written a book, Secrets, and she's from Australia only. I would say it is a secret of secrets. I'll throw light on some more points probably which are the grey areas in that book. So secret of secrets or human life or a unique life experiment. And the fourth session we have binding all the three sessions together, that is the sum up and practical tips for daily living as well as our experiment part. How can we really start using this? So this will be our flow of journey. So session highlights, I was told that I should tell beforehand what we are going to cover in the session. We'll cover holistic living, we'll cover the happiness part, we'll cover golden keys for happy harmonious daily living including family relations, workplace and others, purpose of life, self-interest and positive vision. These are the main topics I'll be going through the session. Now, few days back somebody sent me a very good research article that what is our current status and how Americans lost the track of good life and where to find it now. I think that was not meant only for Americans, it was meant for all of us. But the gist of the article was have more and consume more. Today the strategists, MBAs, marketing officers and everybody has created such a scenario that they are bombarding our psyche, have more, consume more, have more, consume more, because that's only where the wheels of economy will run for them. But that has not given us really the happiness. And everybody is walking that way, so we are also walking. So it's like a fog vision, ship walking after ship. So what should be the correct vision? Is happiness outside? So somebody was asked, a prominent person, is happiness outside? And he replied, probably happiness is an inside job. So, now what is the holistic living? Holistic, Mahesh Bhai already said, wholesome and balanced. So, which way? First and foremost, I have the outer living and inner living. Outer living means my interconnected living, where I am interacting with other people, whether at a family, whether at a profession, in a career, at a colleague, at NGO or whatever, wherever. And inner living is while passing through all the phases of life, how I am living within, what is my inner aspect. So both should be balanced. There is one good aphorism that today we have a lot of outer comforts and luxuries. If you put outer comforts in one pan and inner happiness in the other pan, that should be balanced or a little bit different. If the pan of outer comforts goes much high and the inner happiness is very meager, you will lose your sleeps and probably need psychiatric medicines or a psychiatric doctor. So please beware that the balance is achieved or balance is maintained. Second thing, initially we were knowing about intelligent quotient. Now we all know that there should be emotional quotient and spiritual quotient. If our intellectual quotient is very high, which the present world is giving us, but emotional quotient or spiritual quotient is low, again we will be disturbed or depressed from within, and Einstein had this very high. But probably this low, so he had all throughout his life, he had no good relations with his wife. I think none of us want that, right? So, the third point. Most of us, especially in the foreign countries, when we have come here, most of our time goes after career and money. I think it is true for most of the people. Now, do we have enough time for family? Do we have enough time for health, our own health? Time for family means spouse, children. If so, then I don't have time for my health and no time for my inner development. So all the corners should be well balanced, not only my professional or business life, but my family life, my relations with the wife, children's upbringing, my health and spirituality. So all the livings are important, and body, mind, soul I have already talked, and if you are fortunate to have the self-realization, then you will have relative and real self. That should be balanced. And we can also talk many things which are pertaining to our living, like food, exercise, wealth or money, or how should be my day. But in today's time sphere, probably, I may not touch this. If it comes in question answer session, I may go on through. So let's start with the most common word, happiness. So what do you think, from where the happiness is coming? You have lived a long part of your life, and you must be reflecting back within yourself that I have been finding and working hard and hard and hard for single word happiness. So is it in comparison and competition? So most of us go by this, right? Our mind and ego. I'm practicing since last 25 years, doing 25 to 30 surgeries a month and earning X amount. Now my junior colleague has come into practice only since 5 years. Oh my God, he's already doing 100 surgeries. He's earning 4 times more than me. Run, I'm left out behind. Oh, I'm using X model of car, and Mr. Rajani Bhai is using Mercedes Benz. I'm left out, run. Why? I have a very good smartphone with me, and it's doing all the functions well. Even I'm not able to use the functions which is provided. I'm not knowing half of the functions. And iPhone 6 has come, and Jignesh is carrying iPhone 6, run. I'm left out. So is this our status, and does that give us the answer? So the holistic science says that, okay, answer is in a normal and natural living. What do I mean to say by natural living? If we go to a nature, does this beautiful rose flower blossom in competition to somebody, or is it a natural? So answer is the natural. Does a blueberry, strawberry or a mango fruit becomes very beautiful fruit in competition to somebody? No, it's natural. So if I allow my natural abilities to come out well, competing with myself, not with anybody, I think I'll be very happy and I'll be able to do the best in a life. But if I start comparing with my younger brother with a CPA, and he earns 25 times more than me, with 25 times less tension than me, then I will lose whatever my naturality is as my eye surgeon, and I'll be distressful. And what is normal? Above normal is fever, below normal is also fever. Normality is the essence of life. These aphorisms have been given to you in some selected on page 1, it is 2413. You can refer it whenever you have leisure time. So what do we mean by above normal is fever and below normal is fever? Suppose I like X particular sweet very much, and I go to Subhashji's place and he offers me that sweet because he knows that Shailesh Anandji likes this. And if I go on eating, then what happens? Straight away to the craving. And if I say, no, I don't want, I have renounced that, I don't want to take that, then my mind will jump over me. So normality is the essence of life. Let's see where we have lost the normality. As I was already saying, I was in Brisbane 2 weeks back, and the family with whom I was staying was a very hard worker, very good fellow, very good nature. But his wife complained to me that he is so much involved into the business that he doesn't have time for me. And that fellow was working hard for wife only. But then unfortunately, so this is an imbalance. So many of us experience that our kids are complaining that daddy, mommy could not give the time to us. Same cardiologist friend of mine, his daughter went away with a marriage, and then he wrote a letter to his daddy, who is a very famous cardiologist, very honest, very obliging nature, fast friend of mine. That girl wrote inside, Dad, you could not understand us. and you could not. Means her expectations was not fulfilled because dad had no time to heart exchange the views with that girl. This is a real life scenario. Are we imbalanced like this? And unfortunately, technology part. Technology is a useful tool, but we have to be beware that we don't use above normal. And Einstein said that I fear the day when the technology will surpass our human interaction, the world will have a generation of idiots. It is his quote. I will not dare to say that. But we have to find out that are we going to this? Key to happiness, holistic inner science visions. Jignesh has decided, Mahesh Bhai has decided to hold this seminar 2 months back. Even before they really shared the idea with anybody, ask them whether they started feeling happy and fulfilled within, whether everything started positive from them within. Why to go to such a big thing? Suppose we have a birthday of our grandson or granddaughter coming after 15 days or a month, and we just decide that we will invite few children, have small party. Even before we really invite anybody, do we start feeling happy within? What is secret? No sooner I decide that I will make somebody happy, I will help somebody. Suppose I decide that okay, he needs something, I'll help. I have not yet gone out and helped. But at the level of mind, I have decided from that very moment I start feeling happy, I start feeling fulfillment. So what is the secret? Whatever actions of my mind, speech and body which are going to help others, do help me first. Before obliging others, I am being obliged myself. Before helping others, I am being helped myself. Does this sound true or it is a controversial thing? It's true, right? Because it is universal true, I say this is a science. I gave this answer. The understanding or explanation or theory or whatever you say, when it is working for many people and everybody experiencing the same thing, it is a science. If it is working only for me, it is not a science, it is my will. So, now the second aspect of the story. One gentleman, friend of mine, says that Mahesh Bhai was making some bad comments on your back. Mahesh Bhai doesn't make it, that's why I am taking his name. What happens? My machine starts, okay, let me see him. Is he only a smart guy? I will show him such a lesson, teach him such a lesson, he will not take my name again. Does this happen to us? Some of near and dear friends whisper something in our ear. Or I'm here, I'm away from my clinic and maybe I will be away for 1 month. So somebody informs me that in your absence your staff was not behaving well, they were not attending the clinic regularly. What happens to me? Okay, let me go, I'll take them to task, hire and fire. Hire and fire are common words, right? Here. But before I really go and fire them, there will be fire within me. If I look my face in a mirror, or if somebody takes my photograph and sends me on a WhatsApp, would I like to see my own photograph? Why? I'm same. I love my one photograph. Why I don't love this face? The secret is whatever actions of my mind, speech and body which are going to hurt or disturb others do disturb me first. Then why I am doing the same thing? Why this simple truth was not known to me? Because nobody made me learn to look within first. So this is the first lesson from the holistic inner science. If you don't take anything home, just if you take this much, that each action of my mind, speech and body do affect me positively and negatively. So let me start looking within. We look always outside. Let me start looking within, then I'll have correct choices. So world is me only. This is the basis why I greeted you that I am feeling one with you. Because I don't know how much you are enjoying, but I am definitely enjoying. I don't know how much enlightened you will be, but I am getting more and more enlightened. So this is the perspective that even in interconnected dealing, world is me only. So the simple moral of this first vision is, anyway, I'll come to that a slide afterwards. There are two types of happiness, relative and real. And I'm sure all of you in this part of the world as compared to India are much more happier as far as relative happiness is concerned. Am I true? Or yes or no? Yes. Because you have so many resources. I went to USA, 2 fridges are lying idle in the garage. They don't know how many number of clothes are there in the wardrobe, how many number of shoes are lying idle. That's fine. enjoy whatever is available, which holistic inner science doesn't deny that. But the important aspect is, suppose I go to a very good friend's daughter's marriage, and he treats me in a 5-star hotel, everything available more than required. 3 days function, how long I would enjoy? Would I get bored? Yeah. At the end of 2 or 2.5 days, I get bored. Okay, let me go home, let me take out this suit and boot and tie, this is burdensome, and let me have an informal life. So the very characteristic of the relative happiness is it does give us happiness for some time, then we get bored with that thing and we need another thing to get ourselves enjoying or occupied. Again we enjoy for some time, we get bored. Suppose all of us are given whatever is wanted by us, whatever money, status, prestige, good family, everything. Now we look within our heart. Is that all? Or something more is there, something missing is there? What do you think? Always something more, right? And does the fear go away or some fear does remain? Remains. Today my health is good, tomorrow if something happens, the children don't look after us, and fear of death doesn't leave anybody. So this is the very nature of relative happiness that one can enjoy, but inner unrest persists and it doesn't quench the thirst or fear remains. As against that the real happiness has the nature that it is independent of circumstances. That is why the people use the word bliss, and here people use the word enjoyment or enjoying or joy. Bliss is non-dual state of being, and all the fear goes away, including the fear of death. And we have been fortunate to have this sort of experiences. So how one can have the real happiness? After one knows who am I, after one knows the true identity of the self, which will come later on. So having said this much, now can you decide the goal or purpose of the life? How many of you have decided the goal or purpose of the life, short term and long term both? Can raise the hands? Very few, 3, 4, 5. Okay, rest may not want to divulge or may be wanting to remain neutral, that's fine. But the very humorous thing is why one should have a purpose or a goal. Even the GPS in the car asks, please feed the destination, unless where do I take you? Engine is very powerful, where do I take you without the destination? And scientifically also, as long as I have no goal or no purpose, my inner energy also will not get organized. Nature will also not help me. So once my aim or goal is decided, from within and without, all the energy will get channelized. The understanding will happen. The universe has everything to offer me for whatever I want to achieve. And universe will also offer me, provided I have my purpose or goal known and decided or clear. So for the relative aspect, the holistic science says that continue doing whatever you are doing, but feed in that I will use my mind, speech and body for others. Now when I read this for the first time, I had read Vivekananda that he said that one who lives for others really lives. But my intellect was not accepting that. Why I have enough of stuff for me, why should I care for others? Here, does anybody care for others? Well, I have enough of stuff with me, let me finish my first and then I'll take care of the others. But when I realized that I'm not taking care of others, really I'm taking care of myself first, I'm not obliging others, I'm obliging myself first, the equation becomes simple. So the first thing is obliging nature is the best way of living the life. Now we will say that you have become different clothes and you are preaching the wisdom, we are all householders. Fine, do continue whatever you are doing. Your intent counts. Now intent behind each activity is different for everybody. I'm a doctor. I may have an intent that, oh, I have spent 10 years of my life in study, I have invested a lot of money, let me earn fast. Or I can have intent, okay, I'm doing practice, I will be continuing, but my intent may be soothing the patients, helping them, guiding them correctly. That can be also intent. So here the holistic science says, concept of main product and byproduct. If you have a farm of rice, let's say, and you take out rice grains, then the leftover paddy straw or cattle feed, do you need to have another farm for that? No. You have put up some factory and the main product is taken out. The wastage or scrap material is there. Do you need to have the another factory for that? And if somebody puts up another factory, then what would you say? Oh dear friend, you are like Newton who makes another hole for a small cat. Make only one. So if my main product is to help the people, to oblige the people, to guide the people correctly, my byproduct, that is my earning, my prestige, my status, the love coming from them, the trustworthiness, everything will come free of cost in byproduct. But if I am running after this will be lost. So the message is, whatever you are doing, I have many stories to share. Somebody may be only a household lady, still one can have this attitude. It is inner attitude, inner inclination. I just need to decide within myself, rest will be done by nature. I may not have dollars in my pocket, but I can have the attitude of helping, sharing, caring, loving the other people. I can show somebody some good path. I can go to hospital taking somebody's food if somebody is sick over there, or n number of ways. Just decide. And for lasting happiness, the second purpose can be to know who am I, and that will touch upon later on. I hope this remains clear, this becomes clear. So what does it require to do this? Does it require big exercises? Does it require big changes?
No.
A little change of understanding and your inner attitude and inner vision will change, right, and then benefiting you. No sooner you change your inner understanding, it will start benefiting you first, or me first rather. Now let's come to daily living. What are our main hurdles to happy, harmonious living? Can you think what are the hurdles of our daily happy, harmonious living? I thought the first main hurdle is clashes, inner and outer clashes. I don't know whether Amarbai this sort of situation happens at the office or not. And if not this sort of situations. So whenever the two humans come together, two or more human interaction, either there can be this path, finding faults with each other, blaming, you did not do well, you did not do what I expected, you did not do the correct way, conflicts or lack of harmony. Or there can be another way, when there are two roads going ahead, or there can be another way, finding the positive virtues, harmony, love, share or care. But it's not that it is going to come like that. The understanding is required for that. So what happens? Whenever there is a clash, what happens? I enjoy my dish very well whenever I have a clash. No. Even though it is in front of me, I don't know what has been there. So clashes lead lack of, first it disrupts my harmony, it disrupts my inner energy, it leads my energy level to go low, negativity creeps in, and sometimes we say, please leave me alone, I'll attend that work after, once I get alright. It takes few hours and sometimes few days for our inner self to recover from that clash. But why it happens? None of us really want to have a clash. Why does it happen? So it says that clash happens out of ignorance and I am correct. Everybody here agree to disagree. Okay, I have faced this side, I have different side, right? So says that everybody believes, whether it is at home or whether it is at work or whether it is at NGO or whether it is a seminar or whatever it is, I am right. Why? I have all the right to believe that I am right, and I have all the right to put forward my viewpoint, but lovingly, in a persuasive tone, to the extent possible. But no sooner I become insistent or adamant, the other fellow also says I am right, and he also, or she also becomes insistent or adamant, and the clashes start. So the first golden vision is avoid clashes. And once we decide to avoid the clashes, the inner vision light will show us the way how to sail through. And I'll be aware that as I am right, everybody may be right by his or her own viewpoint, and I have to respect that. So when we go ahead, I decide that I want to resolve the situations amicably with equanimity. So again, this is the situation, and do you know what can be the best definition of common sense? And how much common sense we do all have with us? I was thinking that I had 110, 10 for reserve. If IQ can be 105, common sense can be 100. But when I knew the definition, common sense is one which is applicable everywhere, theoretically and practically, which can resolve any situation without heart or mind getting apart. Now I need. So, decide to resolve clashes. Some people ask me, should we always let go? Should we always suffer? No. If you do that, it is like a press spring, sometimes it will rebound and throw away everything. learn to resolve, not to let go, not to suffer. Now this is the second most common scenario. I am not happy with my wife. Of course I cannot say that, but within I know that given a choice I will like to change. How many of us would like to exercise that option if given? Be honest to yourself.
Nobody is bold enough.
No, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer outside. Just think within you. Sooner the better. So I am not happy with so many things. Problems at home, work, society, with situations. Sometimes I am complaining, oh, there is so much rain. Why the God is sending so much rain? Oh, there is so much of hate, whatever it is. But does that help? What happens? So today I thought, I just having learned that, I started thinking, what is the problem today? Today we do not have the problem due to scarcity of resources, but we have the problem due to difficulty of adjusting with each other. We have lot many things more than required, but we cannot adjust with each other very readily. Why? And I have been moving across and I observe so many things. Why is it so? I want to adjust, but why can't I? Because all the personalities are different. In previous times there were farms, at home and at workplace. In present time there are gardens, at home and at workplace. What is the difference between a farm and a garden? Can you imagine? In a farm everything is similar for miles together. If it is a blueberry farm, for miles together we will find blueberry. If it is almond, for miles together it is similar almonds. In a garden what do you find? All different varieties put together side by side, none of them similar. But does anyone complain that why are you not like me? So how to adjust? One who can master the art of adjusting everywhere with all different personalities under all different situations will not only be happy in this world but will save to the liberation also. And this is a simile that go and learn from the garden. In garden everybody is different, every tree, every plant is different, but none without a fruit or a flower. Everything has a fruit or a flower, right? Even a neem tree, even though it is a bitter taste, is useful. If I have this vision, right at my home or family, right at my workplace, all personalities are different, but each one having some positive ability, some skills, and in fact it is complementary association to each other, synergistic to each other. If I talk of my own home, I am having different personality. My younger brother is having totally different personality, but helping each other. He is my third brother, he also has a different personality. We are all different flowers. But if put together with good vision, each one can help. So adjust everywhere. And it should be internal like sugar in a milk. Does sugar anytime ask to the milk that what brand are you? Or just makes it sweet. So in a garden, a mango never asks to the rose that why don't you have a beautiful fruit like me, or a rose never complains to a mango that why don't you have a beautiful flower. And we never complain to a rose plant that why do you have a thorn. So some people may be outspoken, like hitting us like a thorn, but otherwise they may be very healthy. Use that. Find out what one knows and doesn't complain what one doesn't know. Coming to my own home, everybody wants to make a home a heaven on earth. Isn't it that true? But is it so at the moment? Yes? I believe it is yes, because you are not speaking. So win your own home, world need not be conquered. You may not go out to win the world, but at least win your own home. There are many real life situations where the people are garlanded and respected like anything on the dais, and you are a big personality, but when they go to home and I should not say anymore, everybody knows. So win your own home. A home with good mutual dealings, warm interpersonal dealings, love, care, share. Even if it is a small hut, it will be a very lively place. But a home with stressed relations with each other, even though it is a big villa, millions of dollars, it will appear like a cremation land. So in a family dealings, husband, wife, unfortunately, moving in the Western world, somebody saying me, you can't use this word alone, you have to use the word life partner. So I put a query here. I'm not going into detail, but anyway, husband, wife. So they come together with an understanding that we will have a very nice cooperative society where we will be having a very happy, harmonious, rich, meaningful inner living every breath and every moment. That's good. But the two I do remain separate. The God Maharaj do make them one, but the two I do not become one, right? And especially in this part of world, every eye is to be respected. That's fine. As long as one eye is loving, caring, sharing with the other, it is a win-win situation. But when one eye tries to win over the other, the show starts. Right? So always use the word we and ours and not I and you. Sometimes we humorously or sarcastically use word I and you, but when that goes to a bigger show, we do not know. So everything has a psychological effect. Don't use word I and you or mine and yours, but use the word we or ours. And again the same story. Husband says, I am doing everything for wife, she doesn't understand. I have to understand for myself. Husband doesn't remain nice to the wife for herself. In the worldly language, yes. In the nature's and holistic inner science language, you are nice to yourself first. Similarly for wife, similarly for children. So I have to be careful for my own self because everything affects me first. There is another humorous story. A holistic scientist had one labor contractor in India. And one day he went to that labor contractor's home. And that labor contractor's wife was sitting on a hitchcar. And that gentleman was moving that hitchcar. This is a very rare sight. We cannot even imagine this sight. So he asked in secrecy to that labor contractor that you are pampering your wife so much. Are you not afraid that your wife will sit on your head? And the answer was very wise. How can she sit on my head? She has her role, I have my role. But I have a limited income. I have limited resources. If she becomes displeased, I have a small room. She turns the face on that side, I turn face on this side. It will not be a good situation. So anyhow I please her. I may fight outside, but I never do it at home. So this is one thing, parents, children, another test. And I hear from so many people that this is a real test, right? We can't tell them, we can't bear them, right? So parents and children, how to deal with the parents? Parents have the responsibility more than the president of a country. It's said that parents have responsibility towards their children, which is probably more than the president of a country. So, which way? Because you are supposed to take care of their overall upbringing. In present moment, what happens? We give them iPads. We give them another tool so that they keep themselves occupied and they do not bother us because the parents don't have time. They are running some different areas and they remain busy. And then we shout at them, why are you doing video game whole day? You gave me daddy. So the point is, it is your responsibility of their overall development, not only academic, but overall, value-wise, inner development-wise, scientific understanding-wise, everywise. So how to handle them? Glass, handle with care. There is a tag of fragile. Even though you are quite unhappy, can you throw them? So handle them with care. Very important. We try to teach our children lot many things by saying, but none of them goes to their heart. The secret is they learn by seeing and not what we tell them to do. So they are watching us, how the parents are behaving with each other. The first and foremost learning school is the atmosphere at home. Be very, very careful. They learn from the atmosphere at home. I can give so many real life examples, but time is running out, so I'll also run a little bit. So character of parents is very, very important in influencing the upbringing of children. If the children are not growing the way you want, introspect yourself first. Where is the shortcoming? They seek love. And parents say we are always giving them love. But love is one which is free of expectations and conditions. If they behave according to our expectations, our love goes high like the stock prices. And if they do not, no dad, I am not going to hear you. Stock prices fell down. So love is not one which can go up and down like that. And we are not the owner, but we are gardener. So we have to nourish them like a gardener and not like the owner. Explain them scientifically and honestly. They will have many questions. First, I have to learn what is the scientific process behind it, why, what, how, when. If I am clear, I can put forward the facts scientifically and leave the choice to them. They will not listen. This present generation is not going to hear, do this and don't do this. But if you are able to convince them or put forward the facts scientifically, probably the job will be done. And if I am on the other side as the children, I have the responsibility towards my parents, and I have to be careful that my parents do not miss me in the time of need. At workplace, there is another challenge, right, Amar bhai? Workplace. And most of the people, I hear that they are waiting for Friday because I'm so much stressed up at job. Let Friday come and let me run away to release all the stress. And oh, Monday has come, again the stress is going to start. What is this? So stress and ego management. These are the two important things in the work. And again, if I have the attitude which is positive and friendly. Again, one of my very good engineer friend, very successful, having career in US and then came to India earning millions of dollars. Once his wife came to me and gave few thousand rupees to me that used for some needy patient, and then she said a very good sentence which went through my heart. We work with machines. So we have no opportunity to have the fulfillment of interacting and serving, interacting with the humans. You are working with humans, you are privileged. So if I know that, and if my attitude is positive and friendly, I have the opportunity to love, care, share, oblige the people, share their stories, and there is a garden, I will be able to look at everybody's positive abilities and make best use of it. So by change of vision, my everything will change. And what can I offer my best? See, what happens normally is my intellect says, my boss is giving me more work. He is partial. He is not giving more work to that gentleman and trusting more on me. And that creates a turmoil in my job. But if I, for my own sake, if I feed in, what can I best offer? What can be my sincerity and morality for myself? Right and away I will enjoy, I will have fulfillment, I will have inner satisfaction, I will have inner development. So my attitude changes and I have the opportunity to see the God of yourself in everyone. So with little change, my workplace can turn out into a church or a temple or a rejuvenating place. I can have the best place where I am spending most of the times. Interconnected living. This part of the world is suffering because of the lack of understanding for interconnected living many times. So people live in solitary cells. You and me, and one part goes away and I am left alone. And the puppy is my good friend. So to avoid the loneliness, I have to keep the puppy. So if I know the principles of interconnected or mutual living, parasparanugraho jivana, this has been given for the thousands and thousands of years by enlightened ones, that we live by each other, each living being, not only humans, live with each other, parasparanugraho jivana, by obliging each other. And if I start loving the people unconditionally, no matter what they feel, my heart will always be full. My heart will never feel lonely. So this is the vision and wisdom with which the enlightened ones live in this very world we are living, and finding problems, they never find any problem. So I am in everyone and everyone is in me for my self-interest. So having said this much of things, I know that everybody of us must be now well aware about the self-interest. Are you? Yes or no?
Yes.
In terms of dollars?
Yes.
In terms of status?
Yes.
In terms of relations? Yes. Let's have one more dimension. In terms of my inner, happy, harmonious, my own inner living. So we have seen that each action of mind, body and speech do affect me. First, world is my own echo or my own projection. Now, when I heard this for the first time, I interpreted it like this, that when I say, Rajni bhai, you are a good person, I expect Rajni bhai to say, you are also a very nice person. The echo will come like that. That's fine. But sometimes Rajni bhai doesn't give that echo. Then I get frustrated. I did so much of things and he doesn't recognize. I did so much of voluntary work and he even doesn't say 2 words of appreciation. Let me not do it again. But when I realize that it is for myself, that even before I speak, you are a nice person, my face is smiling, I am positively energized. Why? Because the inner reflection, inner effect of my words first gives me that reward. And if I am to say you are stupid, my face and inner effects will be like this. So I am affected, so be aware of throwing echoes. So in my interest, what should I find out? Should I find out the positivity and virtues of the people and appreciate, or which should I find the faults? And one who is very expert at finding the faults, just observe him carefully. What is his condition of face? What is his condition of energy level? Should I continue to hate the people in a revenge mode, or should I forgive and love? And anger, greed, pride and deceit, whether they are friends or enemies. So management, there are big management conferences worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Holistic inner science is only to say one who can manage the self can manage everything. First learn to manage your inner self in any given situation and you will be able to manage everything. Should I try to improve others? Every one of us try to do the same throughout the life, but it doesn't happen and we get frustrated. So try to improve yourself. Nobody can improve anybody else except own self, and once you are improved by yourself, in your very presence everyone will be improved. And know thyself. And the last two slides, various situations do disturb me. Is that true for us? Yes. Some or other way? So now here is the question, that how can I handle these different situations? There are only two things, me and circumstances. So do the circumstances make me happy or unhappy? It appears so. But the truth is, it is my vision of looking at the situations or circumstances which really can make me happy or unhappy. The people come to me and they complain me that why everybody is wearing the black clothes and why the people have no color sense. I just examine them, remove the cataract in 15 minutes. After 15 minutes they say, oh, the world is very beautiful. What has changed? Nothing else except the vision. Right? Or I do give them glasses. So difficulties and challenges in life nobody of us likes, but really they provide the opportunity to explore our inner energy, to overcome that. It makes us more mature and it leads us to inner development. Criticism or adverse remarks, nobody likes. We lose our sleep at the night, but when I understood that it gives me the opportunity to introspect myself, it gives me opportunity to improve in some areas, and he gives his energy to me or her energy to me. So this physical physicist, he was a very wise, otherwise he said, Einstein, there lies opportunity in every difficulty, and I am thankful to all those who said me no, I will not do your work. Do we ever thank such people? He said, I am thankful to all those who said me no, because of them I did it myself. So I learned and I do now. So this gentleman, holistic scientist, says that favorable situations are food for body and difficulties are vitamins for soul. Would you like only food or vitamins? Everybody goes for vitamins. I am obliged by one who criticizes me. I already said, once he had a fractured leg at the age of 76 years and he was in bed for 2.5 months. Can you imagine what would be the situation of any one of us even if we are in such situation? So much of sorrow and everything. But he was always smiling. His answer was fracture had occurred at that moment. From the next moment it has started uniting. Medically also it is true. And this gentleman said that see what is left and not what is lost. So little change of understanding, how can I remain positive during illness and sad events? It's maybe a reparative process. Do your best using the power of medicine and prayer, but distinguish between the sufferer and one who knows. We'll go into detail later on. Time, last slide, because Manish Bhai had started with the time and Rajni Bhai is looking at the watch. I know that, I'm aware of that part, but I have my planning that because I had 2 sessions together, introduction as well as this, I may not have many more question answers in this session, but second session is a long session and we'll have adequate time over there. And meanwhile you can have tea and have your questions also ready. So time management, planning or management. But I want to share something different. The time is always available, but it flows according to my inner understanding, what I value, what I put in priority, what is my inner understanding. It flows according to my vision and interest. If I have proper understanding and value of human life and value of each aspect of life, I will never be in shortage of time. Believe me, always you will be able to find some time. It may be less in terms of minutes or hours, but it may be very rich in terms of quality. I spend few minutes only with my mom because most of the times I'm away at clinic or I'm away at the tour. But those few minutes I try to see that I can win over heart of my mom because that's my duty. So outer time and inner time. Whenever you are busy doing anything, driving car, doing office work or doing anything, inside there is always something happening. If you have vision, you can gain in both outer and inner, relative time and real time. So this was the end of my first session. And we have 10 minutes left out in this session. Am I right, Manish bhai?
Yeah.
Yes. So in 10 minutes we can take few questions and rest questions we'll take in the second half. I hope I have been able to make few points in our daily living, and if I summarize them again, we have dealt with holistic living, we have dealt with keys for happiness, I have to decide in the morning that let my mind, speech and body make one and all happy, let my mind, speech and body not hurt anyone else. We had talked about body, mind, soul, health, we had talked about happiness shop and golden keys and purpose of life, self-interest and positive vision. So whatever we had planned, we have just gone over the few points.
I think it's a very lively introduction to the subject by Shailesh Anandji. We may have time for one or two questions before we break for tea. I think some of you, if you want to ask the question, there are slips inserted in the kit given to you. You can use that thing, and much more time will be available in sessions to follow. So if there are any questions, if somebody has written the question, they can ask, or somebody can stand up and ask the question. That is also allowed.
Volunteers are there to help you. If you don't find chits, you can raise your hand and they will provide you the chit, and you can give the question chit to the volunteers and will try to give it back.
Any questions from anybody? I think looks like it is well understood or not understood. Both situations, there are no questions.
Yeah, we say that whenever there are no questions, either it is totally understood or totally gone over the head.
I have a gentleman to raise a question. No, you can. You can. I would request to tell your name and then the question.
Yeah, sure. My name is Praveen. What I wanted to ask you was positive vision. So many times what happens is, we try to follow positive, we read books and we try to understand, we try to implement in our own life, at home and at work. But when we get a response, we try for a few times and then we say, oh, this is not working. And I have to be a little bit smart. I have to get the work done. And we get a lot of support from, our friends and say,
Please brief in your question.
Yeah, so my question is, how do you practice being positive at work?
Very good question. So it has two aspects that I try to remain positive, but because the others do not reciprocate or respond the same way, I lose my interest of remaining positive. That is everywhere, which I in a way mentioned also, that I try to be friendly or loving, he or she doesn't respond, and then I am in an annoyance mode at the other extreme, right? Hatred mode. Fine. Now and second aspect of the question is it doesn't work or it doesn't seem to be working for others. Now I'll answer both aspects. First and foremost, as I say, holistic science has taught me one very good thing, that first let me look within, right? So no sooner, again, what is positive vision? Is it imaginary? Is it hypothetical? Is it something positive against negative? No. Once I understand my own experiment as well as natural system well, it is my correct vision which always puts me to the positive vision. Now suppose somebody may not be understanding. It may happen that I have gone for seminar and there may be 15-20 people instead of 100 expected. So what do? I put the switch inside, I have come for myself, let me do my whole best because I can enjoy that, right? So it is for me first, it is for me first, and nobody can interfere in my inner part. If I want to remain positive, enjoy the fruits, once I have understood scientifically that it is for my own interest, in my self-interest, my own benefit, nobody will see in the second half that should my remote control of life lie with others or it should lie with me. So having understood that, I have so many situations, but in those situations with correct understanding, I am always the gainer, never a loser, never ever. Suppose sometimes we have a very long journey and flights may be delayed, some other things might have happened, and everybody gets disturbed and distracted and whatnot, even the body may get fatigued. But inside I change myself, that okay, this is the time, surplus time available to me, let me make best use of it. Gandhiji learned Gita in jail. Lokmanya Tilak studied Gita in jail. So this is the surplus free time available to me. How can I use my time within me? And outside is not my control, but inside is within my control. So with correct understanding, I will never ever be a loser. I will be gainer. Now the second part, the others do not respect or reciprocate. The secret is when I will leave that part, looking at that part with how they are responding, they will automatically respond. Because it is my inner self wanting them to respond in certain way, their ego is not responding that way. But having said that, let me come to the second part. Their machine is working machinery according to their specifications. I cannot emphasize many more things in their specifications. But if I am doing my part well, see, I'll share another very small secret of interactive living. Do we always interact or deal with each other in whatever way with innocent smile? Can we? It is 3 times when somebody is taking photographs, smile comes on our face. I had experienced myself. I just went to the college and I was totally new in that city. I was not knowing anybody and I just walked into the hostel. I didn't know anything. There should have been fear of unknown. I don't know, but naturally smile came onto my face. Whosoever comes, I have to make the friend, and I'm friendly to him. The gentleman who came across felt that he seems to be a good guy. Okay, come in my room, you can be my good room partner. So once 3 people from the bank came, Bank of Baroda, to my clinic on their sales motive. And they said, sir, why don't you bring your accounts to our bank? And I already have the account in Bank of Baroda, other branch. So I asked them flatly, what would be the benefit? I'm already having the account in other branch of Bank of Baroda, and you are nationalized bank, you can't offer me anything more. But those youngsters were very good, smiling, positive attitude. So he says, sir, we will love you to be with us. I said, this is good. They are doing their duties with smile. With good heart, I transferred all my accounts. And I'm enjoying today. So the point is, I have to do my role for my sake first and leave rest to nature. Most of the times, world is my own echo. It may take a while, but after a while, the echo will come. And even if it doesn't come, I am not bothered. It is their lookout, it is their perspective, it is their domain. I will not be a loser. Okay? Am I clear?
Yeah.
So leave that part that because others are doing, I have to do that. If others are not knowing their interest, would you like to lose your interest following them?
No.
Would you like to follow the sheep?
No.
No.
So be aware. Don't follow the sheep. Right?
I think we can now break for tea and assemble after 15 minutes after having good tea here.
Okay, just to quickly inform you, the toilets are right at the back, and the tea and the refreshments are going to be on the right hand side as soon as you get out.
So
and after 15 minutes, there's going to be a call